Hi, welcome back to class, and we are now on Module 7. And one thing that's happening with this class now is we are moving on past the general discussions on race and ethnicity. So as the first few chapters discussed the concepts ranging all the way up to immigration, now we're starting to focus on individual groups of people and their experiences. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make these concepts bigger, so things that we discuss in 1 week can be applied to more than one ethnic group. And so an example of this is this week we're going to look at Native Americans, and the extra concept that we're going to look at is the idea of historical and cultural trauma. And so this is something that is now being spoken about quite a bit. And what's interesting about this is it's a concept that's looked at by a lot of groups of people. And we're going to use some videos to work our way through this. Let's see here. And so, hit the wrong button here. So what's going to happen is we're going to watch a couple of videos on this, but I want you to keep in mind that other groups of people besides Native Americans experience historical and cultural trauma. And an idea with this is there's a doctor named Maria Braveheart who's from Standing Rock who started studying this about 30 years ago in this area. And to further her studies, she went to New York City and studied at Columbia, where she had her master's from there, but she went back to actually teach and do more studies. And so she started working with the Jewish community in New York City, so these Holocaust survivors, and looking at the cycle of trauma that took place. This is a sociology class. We're looking at a psychology concept here, but I want you to keep in mind that this is a very social discussion we're going to have. And so you're going to watch some interviews of Dr. Brokenleg and Dr. Steve Perry out of Michigan, and Perry focuses on boarding schools, and you're going to see some different perspectives, but we'll bring it back to a social discussion. There will be a Dropbox assignment and a couple of short videos, so I'll just work down the list with you here. This is a pretty straightforward week. And again, like I said, we're getting on to individual groups. So this week we're looking at Native Americans, and we're going to move on through different groups' experiences. So first off, there's the Dropbox, and these are a series of interviews from a show called Native Report. And it's a good show. One thing they did with this is they broke this up into a 3-week deal. So as you watch these, you don't have to watch the whole Native Report episode. You can if you want. It's a great show. I watch it every time it comes on. I record it and watch it on my DVR because there's some great information on this. But as you can see, the first video, his interview starts at 1940, and so you just go ahead and you scroll to the 1940s section, and let's see here, 1940, and I'm sure you get the point. And then you just play, and we have the interview here. So it's in 3 parts. 1940 in the first one. It starts at 17:10 in the second one, and 10 minutes and 9 seconds in the third video. You're going to answer these 10 questions on this, and this is a Dropbox assignment. And then we have, of course, the quiz on the chapter, and there's 2 more videos. So this first video that we have is Kill a Man, Save the Indian, which is a statement from General Pratt when he was discussing the boarding school scheme that was set up in the late 1800s. And in that, they took Native Americans away from their families, so young children were taken away from their families and shipped off to schools around the country, and they were forced into assimilation very heavily with a total institution of the school. And so they were run in old military barracks, and the students were treated not too well. So if you talk to people who went to boarding school, you sometimes get some really horrible stories about what they experienced. One story that I can recall that I heard somebody tell me is that in boarding school you learn what adults you need to avoid. And that was told me by somebody who's close to me and went through the experience of boarding school, and they said that they found that out when they were 6 years old. So the treatment of people is really bad in these places. But we're going to look at the boarding school experience and see how that created trauma for Native American communities. So the trauma that was created wasn't just to the family or to the individual that was taken away and put into school, but the community also felt trauma. And so this is where we look at some of the really bad things that happened as a result of our policies in this country. And next we're going to use a video from University of Hawaii. Again, Hawaiians are native, and so this is a University of Hawaii video set up to explore how social workers need to have an understanding of cultural and historic trauma in order to do their job effectively. And so you're going to answer a question on this too. So this is geared towards you as a student. I know a lot of you are thinking of working with the public, and so I want you to think about how these concepts can be of importance to you in being a student. So, why does this matter? But this is a very interesting concept. It's a really interesting thing to talk about. When I first came to Black Hills State University, I came here in 1994 to study American Indian Studies, and in one of my classes, we discussed trauma really briefly, but for some reason that really stuck with me. And as I heard about the idea of historic trauma, I wanted to know more about this because, it's interesting to learn about how the biography of a people intersects with these historic events, and sometimes the bad things that happen make a cycle of trauma. So the new response to the trauma can become a new norm if it's not taken care of. And so this gets into a really unique area that I think is important to have understanding of. So again, we are on Module 7, which means we have about 9 weeks left of the class. So if you have any questions by now, you should be getting in touch with me. And again, send me emails on D2L. I've been getting some emails on the regular school email, but it's much more efficient for me to get them here. Then I have a record of you sending it to me, and it's less likely that I'll miss your message. So have a great week, and thank you.